I would like to express my sincere and deep appreciation to Senior Sayadaw U Thitzana and all the senior monks of the Sri Lanka Meditation Center and all the trustee members of this Tathagata Center for inviting me and for providing this wonderful opportunity to share the Dhamma with all the yogis and all the fellow friends on the spiritual path. Today is the first day of the retreat. I would like to share some important words said by the Buddha regarding meditation, so that you appreciate what you are doing, so that you can be inspired. Our Buddha, the most holy and the most perfectly enlightened teacher, is a very wonderful person, blessed with the unique attributes of not only physical aspects, but also spiritual aspects. Of many spiritual aspects. The wisdom of the Buddha is very profound. And the teaching he taught 25 centuries ago resonate with the truth, relevancy, and applicability. The reason why you are here is to practice meditation. The purpose of meditation is to attain enduring peace and happiness and develop a very positive mental states which can lead to attainment of that lasting peace known as the Nibbana, and where a person no longer feels suffering. He is free and liberated from continuous chain of emotional suffering and mental suffering and all the physical suffering in the journey of life. Buddha possesses many qualities. Out of those qualities, 10 super wisdoms are very special. But I'm not going to dwell on explaining all those 10 super knowledge. And what I'm going to explain is about Buddha's view and emphasis on the development of the mind. Why Buddha placed so much stress and emphasis on the development of the mind? The answer is very clear. The mind is that which makes our life alive and meaningful. Without mind, life will be just only empty, and it will not exist without the mind. Without the presence of the mind, this mind, known in different terms in English, such as soul, spirit, consciousness, etc., is very wonderful energy. Meditation is just only mental training and mental exercise. Why mental training and mental exercise is necessary? We are living by means of mind and consciousness. We are feeling and we are enjoying, we are having different kind of mental states in the mind. In Buddhist texts, Buddha clearly mentioned about two kind of life we live. One is internal life, and the other is external life. Internal life is our individual being, our private aggregate. In Buddhist text, it is mentioned as the Ijata Loka, the inner world, inner universe. In other words, it is a microcosm of an individual. An individual lives in an individual world through the presence of five aggregates. It is where one feels pain and pleasure, happiness and unhappiness, and suffering and joy. The real end of suffering is to be found in oneself, not at the outside. And the other world Buddha mentioned is external world. External world in Pali is called Bheda Loka. Bheda is a Pali word. It means out, outside, external. Loka means world. So there are two kinds of words in Buddha's teaching: internal world and external world. Internal world is an individual being where a person lives and where a person feels pain and pleasure, suffering and joy. By mental training, one trains the mind. Why we have to train the mind? The mind is very important driving force in everybody's life. If the mind is peaceful, that person is peaceful. If the mind is not peaceful, that person is not peaceful. A happy mind creates a happy person. A confused mind, a suffering mind, makes a suffering person an unhappy person. To quote a word said by Buddha, Buddha said the following word: Chaitena nidi logo, chaitena prikasti. Chaitasa ega dhammasa, sabhiwa vasa manaku. The world is led by the consciousness of the mind. And the world is pulled over by the mind. All living beings follow the course of thy mind. The statement said by Buddha 25 centuries ago are very much true. We are very much dependent on our mental states. If a person is full of mental confusion, mental suffering, or emotional suffering, his life is unlivable. If a person has a very peaceful and trained mind, his life will be livable. Because life has uncertain things. Uncertainty itself is the element of life. To quote the characteristic of the human life, Buddha said, Animeda maninyadam michana ida jiwida kasirenja predenja tenja dukkena sanyuda. It means that this life has no nimitta, no predictable signs. This life is not knowable. There is uncertainty. And Katsirenja is also hectic. It is also short. What these words mean? They mean very deeply. To explain them, what Buddha means is that we cannot predict our life, the course of our life. We cannot know the reason why we are here on visible level. We cannot. But on intellectual level, we can know. Buddhas and enlightened saints who possess psychic capacities, they can recollect past life like many yesterdays. We have done so much and so many things good and bad in the past. Based on our actions, our conditioning, we came into being gay and again repeatedly. But there is always unpredictability. This is the first characteristic. Aninyada means uncertainty. This does not mean we have to be disappointed with this characteristic of life. We have to enlighten so that we can live life wisely and nicely. These words of the Buddha remind us we are here in this life, not forever, but for a short duration of time. While we are here, we have to manage our life well by means of wisdom. Buddha said there are two powerful things in the world which we can use. The first powerful thing is the power and the capacity of investigative thinking, investigative wisdom. Sometimes you may know this as a critical thinking, critical analysis. This is the first powerful thing. If you live life by using this critical analysis of what you are going to do and what you are going to do and the consequence of your action, and you can avoid doing wrong and bad things. You can do wholesome and right things. In this way, life will be livable. Buddha encouraged to use investigative thinking and critical analysis in doing things in our life. In this case, Buddha mentioned regarding this critical thinking, you have to think any bodily action, any verbal action, any mental state, whether they are wholesome or not. If unwholesome, don't do it. If wholesome, you can do it, and you will be happy, and your life will be happy and peaceful. This is just only basic explanation. And second powerful force is called the force of the development and the force of the practice. In Pali, this is called the bhavana bla. Bhavana means development. What kind of development? Development of the mind, development of the good characteristic in a person's individual life. The purpose of meditation is to develop that power and that development. You're trying to develop the mind by means of practice meditation. Now let me talk about mental training and mental development. Why Buddha emphasized this? In one of the Buddhist texts, Buddha said, I see no other thing like undeveloped mind, which is unmanageable. This is the first word Buddha said. And Buddha continued to say, undeveloped mind, monks, can lead to bad consequence and is unmanageable. So manageable mind, unmanageable mind. What is unmanageable mind? Undeveloped mind, which is not developed through practice of meditation, either samatha meditation or vipassana meditation. When we leave our mind as it is, it always runs wild. It always wanders off. It is always agitated. It becomes more restless. A person with restless mind becomes an unstable person. He got easily upset. He got easily irritated. He cannot focus. He will do whatever his mind motivates him. When desire arises, he will do based on desire. When anger arises, he will react based on anger. So, undeveloped mind is very much difficult to manage. In Pali, unmanageability is called the akamaniya. Akamaniya means not ready for walk. Not ready for walk. Not ready to use. It only lead to more problem. The problem started in the mind. When we see someone, a bad criminal, doing bad thing in the newspaper or a news, we see as a person, superficially. But if we look at the problem deeply, we see not as a criminal, a person with an undeveloped mind. A person with untrained mind. Because his mind is untrained and undeveloped. Whatever his emotions motivate him, he do. He does bad things and good things. In today's time, human consciousness is bombarded with endless disturbance through the eye, through the ear, through the nose. There are lots. Everyday bombardment of destruction, which come into contact with our physical senses. If a person doesn't know how to manage his mind, he will suffer mental problems. In today's time, there are a lot of mental disorders. All this is lying in the fact that they don't know how to manage the mind. They just only know how to entertain their emotion, how to keep their mind satisfied through physical pleasure and through physical solutions. Mental management is what Buddha wants to say and these words. Undeveloped mind is not ready for work, not ready for real life, because it will always run wild. It will always wander off constantly, finding no peace and no rest. Similarly, Buddha said, opposite of it. Monks, developed mind is work ready. I'm just trying to shorten what Buddha said. Developed mind is ready for work, ready for real life. These words are very simple and clear. mental management is very much a necessity for those who are health conscious, who are happiness conscious. Most people, they only understand physical health and bodily health. They don't think about mental health and mental well-being. Meditation is the pathway to development of mental well-being. It can lead to so many wonderful things in one's life. If a person develops necessary mindfulness key in his meditation practice, he can use those mindfulness skills in real life. When he go back to his busy life, he will know how to take rest, especially how to recharge the mind, how to find relief and rest for his stressful mind. He will know how to handle and how to reduce stress, especially mental stress. Even though one may have to go through a lot of physical tasks to survive daily life. It is only in Buddha's teaching that mental management technique is available. Perfect mental management technique is to be found in Mahastipthana Sutta, Stipthana meditation, known as the mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is the primary and principal path by which Buddha have attained enlightenment. Buddha himself said and discourse many times, practice of mindfulness is the perfect way to develop wisdom, to develop necessary insight knowledge, and leading to attainment of the path and fruition knowledge. Most meditators, they are quite familiar with the benefits of meditation because they already recite Mahasatipatthana Sutta every day at the TMC. They are not empty statement of the Buddha. They are practical. The result can be experienced by every meditator if they walk on this spiritual path of mindfulness meditation. To continue what Buddha said regarding mental management, Buddha emphasized to develop the mind, to train and to tame the mind, to protect and secure the mind, to restrain the mind. How to train and how to tame it? The mind is naturally wild. If we live that way, if we live as it is, the mind will go wherever it wants. The mind will want whatever it wants. Good or bad, wholesome or unwholesome. If we let the mind loose, and it will follow on every object without boundary, because the mind is unseen energy. There's no physical form of the mind. There is no physical restraining tool. To train the mind, we have to use meditation, either samatha meditation or vipassana meditation. I will explain later on coming days about how mental trainings happens, how you can apply mental training in your practice. Now, I want to explain how to secure the mind. Securing the mind is the most delicate thing. Why? The mind has no physical state. It's not physically tangible. It's an intangible energy state. In order to keep the mind secure, you have to use sati, or known as mindfulness or alertness. And every sense door, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mind itself. So keeping the mind safe and secure is through restraining of the six senses, 5 physical senses, and 1 mind per quality. Altogether, they are called 6 senses, or 6 doors. Restraining, how to restrain the mind? It is a restraining of the physical sense, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and the body. This will be explained later in coming days, because they need a practical explanation by means of your practice. If a person can train the mind, can keep his mind secure and safe, can restrain the mind with the mindfulness in a balanced and relaxed manner, he will develop very wonderful inner peace, inner calm, and the wisdom will develop as a result. That's what Buddha said. In meditation practice, many meditators, they find it very challenging, especially in the beginning. We need to have very relaxed and balanced mental condition in order to progress, in order to proceed in the practice. A relaxed attitude is the one that's not forcing oneself, that's not pushing too much. It just only observe with a very calm and relaxed mind, as instructed by the teacher. If a person can practice meditation with a relaxed attitude, his meditation will be progressive. There are preliminary things for a meditator. Of those preliminary things, the first thing is to set aside the notions of who you are during meditation practice. This way, mindfulness meditation will be smooth. And how to set aside who you are? In this case, you have to set aside the notions of me and mine. And this is very important. If you are not able to set aside and always thinking, I'm meditating, you will not be able to meditate. then what kind of right attitude one should keep? During meditation, just only mindfulness and the objects are dominant. And simple explanation, there are only two things, body and mind, the nama and rupa. There's no robot, there's no genie. There's no such and such a person who is brightest in meditation. Just only mindfulness, the noting mind, and the object being noted. And physical and mental elements only. With this basic right attitude, you can start your practice. This is very basic necessity when we practice meditation. Most meditators, they're trying to identify with the pain, with the wandering thoughts, with the walking and with sitting. I mean sitting, I mean walking, I mean having this such and such a pain. My mind is wandering, etc. And sometimes they even say, I'm in bored, I'm in put up with my practice. They're trying to put me and mine into the practice. This is where the problem started. One must be able to set aside the notions of I and me and the notion of who you are and what you are doing. Instead, you just observe with the impersonal mindfulness. That impersonal mindfulness is the real meditator. And the objects, such as rising and falling, and the wandering mind, and the hearing sounds, and various kind of sensations and pains, and various kinds of mental states, such as being happy, being bored, being upset. All these are impersonal phenomena. Once you clearly accept this, your meditation will be smooth. Meditation is a very delicate mental training and very subtle, secure, and very subtle restraining of the mind. This does not mean you have to control your mind. Actually, you don't need to control intentionally. You just keep your mindful observation. Mindfulness itself is restraining process. Some people, they thought meditation is very hard because they find it very difficult to control the mind. This has been because they're trying to understand meditation as a controlling of the mind. Actually not. It is using the mind to train the mind. Here Buddha said, to quote what Buddha said, Saitena pakdam papan saitene wa vidosti. Any unwholesome states generated in the mind is to be purified by means of the mind. It is similar to the pollution of the water. In order to clean any contaminants from the water, pure water has to be used. In the same way, any impurity, any negative mental state arising in the mind and happening in the mind again and again, and need to be purified. by use of the mind. In this case, not ordinary mind, the mindfulness mind, a mind which is infused with the mindfulness, alertness. It is a very positive, wholesome mental state. Some people, they're trying to overcome mental suffering and mental problems by use of the physical stuff. Physical stuff in this case means some drugs or physical things such as alcohol or entertainment. If they are unhappy and disappointed, they drink alcohol and they use drug to overcome their mental pain. This is not the right solution. The right solution, in a very harmless way, which can bring about positive result, is through meditation and mental training. We all are very lucky because mindfulness meditation is all-purpose spiritual tool, all-purpose medicine. It can be used as a spiritual tool for mental development, to liberate from suffering, to attain nibbana, or to develop mental well-being and to live this life happily and to the fullest. It can also be used as a medicine, especially mental medicine. Buddha's medicine, known as mindfulness meditation, is very wonderful. You don't need to buy it in any kind of pharmacy. You don't need to go to doctor to get a prescription. A psychiatrist will prescribe physical drugs. If someone use those physical drugs, he may get instant results for a while. But later, it will be habit forming. And he will be very much dependent on the medicine. So being drug dependent is not good. By undergoing this mental training at the TMC, trying to develop mindfulness skill. This is a very important message on the first day of the retreat. What are mindfulness skills? The skill to observe, and the skill to let go, and the skill to remain composed. A beginner is instructed to develop mental calm and concentration by focusing on the abdominal movement of the rising and falling as a primary object. And some people, they find it quite easy to focus. Some people find it in breath and out breath to focus. Whatever you can focus, most important thing is to keep the mind calm, to keep the mind fixed, and to keep the mind fully marched into the movement of the rising and falling of abdomen, or each in breath and out breath. But don't mess up. Just only choose one primary object. In this case, rising and falling. And feeling and sensation are also very delicate things. Some people, they find it quite challenging in the beginning. Myself has great problems, many problems. For the first 2 weeks, struggling with the pain. Sometimes this process of meditating on the pain, it takes longer for some meditators. For those with a strong mindfulness, they can see the pain and sensation very clearly, and they can even experience cessation of the pain by themselves. In my experience, I have a very bad pain, which have been in the form of the spasmodic attack on my back, all the way to the head. And my head seemed to be shaking, even for someone looking outside. I just keep meditating and later overcome it. And the pain never come back. It's very serious and very dangerous pain. I thought I need to go to the doctor. And I just go and see the doctor, and they give me medication. When I take the medication, I feel sleepy and dizzy. I remain on the bed, lying down and sleeping. Then I thought, if I continue using this medication, I will become drug dependent, and I must use now Buddha's medicine. So I'm trying to meditate with a firm determination. Let me die in this sitting. I will not give up observing the pain. I practice pain meditation for a number of days, and then I overcome. But the result may be different depending on the person's condition. So pain meditation is very important during the retreat. You're trying to observe on the pain. If there's pain, don't worry. Don't be afraid of the pain. Just be ready to fight the pain with your mindfulness gun. The mindfulness power is very powerful gun, very powerful to confront the pain. In this case, don't expect the pain to disappear. Instead, you just observe. See how it happens, how it arises and passes, such as vibration, motions, heat, and airs, and all the elements. They become very clear. If your mindfulness is very strong. And another thing is wandering thoughts meditation. This is also very challenging for the beginner. But the way a person make a substantial amount of progress during retreat, pains become less and less. Wandering thoughts become less infrequent, very infrequent. And one will enjoy one's practice because the mind becomes calm, the body becomes very subtle and very light. Very interesting. You will not reach to that state instantly, but you have to go steadily and slowly with a determination, with discipline, with a consistent practice. But please do not expect too much. Expecting too much will create more disappointment. In meditation, don't keep expectation. In meditation practice, very, very important not to have expectation. Expectation will create problems. And also, identification is also a big problem. Don't identify yourself with the pain, with the wandering thoughts, and with the sounds, with the meditation. You are not meditating. No one is a meditator. Mindfulness is meditator. This is very simple. Even though it may sound very shocking to some people, you are not going to lose your identity in meditation. Instead, you will see your true identity. Your true identity is just only phenomena, mental phenomena and physical phenomena, which arise and pass in rapid succession. And you will enjoy in the flow, in the constant flow of this mental phenomena and physical phenomena. That's what Buddha said. A liberated person, a liberated mind, is the one which can live through all the process of commotion, all the process of destruction and disturbance without feeling upset. This is very wonderful. In Buddhist texts, there are two beautiful words said by Buddha. The first one is called the Sayadaw U Thitzana, freedom of the mind, freedom of consciousness. And the second one is called the Panya Vimukti, the freedom of intellect. These two words are very deep, even though they are very wonderful. And very deep because they are like the peak of the mountain. When you are practicing meditation, you are just climbing the mountain. When you are climbing the mountain, you have to exert your physical energy and strenuously and laboriously. You have to strive, but don't strive too much, but climb steadily. First step, you have to climb the pain mountains, and you have to climb the wandering thoughts mountain. And in order to be successfully climb, in order to be able to successfully climb this mountain, you have to follow instruction. You have to maintain very relaxed and very unhurried mindfulness. This is very important. Don't look over the peak of the mountain. Just focus on your steps. Every step of mindfulness is what you need to do. If you can consistently use every step of mindfulness, you will reach the top. You will reach the top, characterized by joy, inner calm, and equanimity, and wonderful feeling of appreciation of the Dhamma, profound Dhamma taught by the Buddha. You are going to experience those wonderful state. Before you reach that state, in those states, you have to be patient. If you are patient and dedicated and consistent in your mindfulness practice, you will progress. This is very sure. Buddha said, only those with ardent and consistent awareness can progress in their practice. This is what Buddha said. In Mahasatipatthana Sutta, you always chant every day, Adapi, Sambhajano, Satima. These are three requirements of a good meditator. Adapi, translation is being ardent. But in Buddhist text, it is more clear. Pali words are more clear. A means intensively. Tapi is two words, tapa and e. Tapa means to burn. E means the one who has burning. So it means the one who keep burning. The one who keep burning. What means you have to burn? You have to burn. pollutants. How to burn pollutants? By your mental effort and physical effort. So adabi means the one who makes intense physical and mental efforts which can burn all mental impurities. There's a complete meaning of the word adabi. Being adi is very short translation. Sambhajano, comprehending. This is the basic English translation. But the Pali word is most detailed. Sambhajano. Sam means well. Pa means detailed. Jano means knowing. Knowing in detail well. So knowing in detail well means knowing in detail well your step when you are walking, and knowing in detail your sensation, knowing in detail hearing sounds and wandering thoughts. Very complete. Pali word is very complete. So you must use your intense effort and being aware and mindful of whatever mental phenomena and physical phenomena that arise and pass during your observation and practice. And satima, this is number 3 word for Buddha said. Mindful, this is English translation. Sati means mindfulness or alertness. Ma means the one who has. By maintaining one's alertness and mindfulness. If you have these 3 qualifications, you will be a great meditator. You will be able to achieve the mountain peak of joy and meditative joy, rapture, and inner calm, and very wonderful feeling of ecstasy and development of inside knowledge and true knowledge that see things that there is nothing I can hold on to, my sons, my daughters, my body, my property, my family, my friend. There's nothing I can hold on to. Even though I hold on to myself, even though I hold on to so many possessions, so many loved ones, everything is just arise and pass. Everything is just in constant state of the transition. And once you develop this profound wisdom, you will be able to live life in peace and happiness. May all of you be great meditators who achieve the highest peak of the Buddha's teaching. This means liberation from suffering and living life in peace and happiness.